Hello viewers, this is Dr. LRS Kalanithi, Associate Professor of English and a Research Supervisor. In addition, I am also the Vice Principal of Guru Nanak College, handling students' affairs. In this video, we are going to see a presentation on the errors which we come across in our communication. Communication plays a very major role in the life of human beings. As you all are aware, of all the beings created in this universe, we, the human beings, are the only beings who are gifted with the art of communication, the power of communication, the common sense, the presence of mind used in communication. So in that regard, we are here to just see the different kinds of errors which we come across in using English as the language for communication. In a country like India, where there are many languages spoken, we need a common language for communication. And the British legacy has left us the gift of the English language. And we are very much benefited with the language English because it is a user-friendly language, it's a library language, it's a language of science and technology, it's a language of trade and commerce, and it's a language of almost everything in this world. This is a fast-growing world, and since 1990s, we have been living in a liberalized, privatized, and globalized era. And in that context, communication plays a major role in our day-to-day life. And we have chosen English as a target language for communication. And if I present this video to young children, right? If I speak to the young children, they may not easily understand. And if I speak to the elders, the aged people, they think they know many of these things. And for me, as a teacher of English in an arts and science college, what I feel is if I speak to the plus 2 students or the diploma students or the UG or PG students, it will be of great use because they are the ones, they are the productive students. They are the productive citizens, rather to say, like after their education, they will be getting employed. So here my concentration is on these 3 categories, that is the higher secondary students, the diploma students, and the undergraduate students. Now I have got certain objectives of my program. The first objective is to sensitize the beneficiaries about the importance of effective communication by avoiding common errors in English. The second objective of my video is to disseminate the various kinds of errors in communication. After some time, you will see a long list of the names of errors attributed to our mistakes which we commit in the use of English. And the third and the final objective is to highlight the value and the need for ethics in communication. Today, we need to know the ethics of communication. Like we come across lots of people around us. We come across higher officials, elders, senior citizens, people of higher rank, teachers, parents, neighbors, and students, and there are many kinds of people whom we meet every day, and we should know how to talk to each of them. For example, when we speak to children, we can be at ease. We can use very informal language to make the child feel comfortable with us. But the same thing, cannot be used when we speak to an elderly person or in a formal setting where there is a common platform with the educationists or academicians or a student fraternity or anybody like this in the field of education. So in that case, we need to know, right, which word has to be used. Right, in certain occasions, we are not supposed to use any word which will offend the listener. And in certain cases, we are not supposed to open our mouth using filthy words or colloquial words or slang expressions, because that will also be sounding very, very informal, which is not liked by the people in our community. We now move on to the second part of my presentation, that is to start with, I always prefer the known to the unknown concept. So here you see commonly mispronounced words, especially in India, in Tamil Nadu, where the first word Xerox, that is actually Xerox, Xerox. But in Tamil Nadu, the transliterated form of this word is given as Xerox, Xerox. Look at the difference between Xerox and Xerox. So which is to be followed? Xerox, that is the pronunciation of the particular word. And next word is cupboard, it's not cupboard, right? People literally speak, they pronounce the word as cupboard, cupboard. It is not the way, we have to pronounce it as cupboard, cupboard. The third word is normally written here in the transliterated form as restaurant, restaurant in Tamil Nadu as a signboard. But the right pronunciation is restaurant, restaurant, or in English it's restaurant, restaurant. The next word is comedian. It's not comedian, it is comedian, comedian. Now this particular spelling is for the masculine gender. If a man plays the role of this comic role, he is to be called as comedian. If a female plays the role of a comedian, then the sound is the same, comedian, but the spelling is different. The spelling will be Comedienne. So that is a spelling to be given to a female role playing the role of a comedian. The next word, normally people pronounce it as tortoise, tortoise, but the right pronunciation is tortoise, tortoise. The tortoise and the hare is a very famous story for children. And the next word has got only one pronunciation, but somehow it is often mispronounced by many people. It is actually diverse, diverse. It's not diverse or divorce, it is diverse, diverse. Yeah, next word is pronunciation, pronunciation. People normally pronounce this word as pronunciation. The verbal form of it is pronounce, but the noun form of it is pronunciation, pronunciation. Yes, the next word, we use it every day. This is not breakfast, this is breakfast, breakfast, breakfast. Yeah, next word in the second column is debut, debut. It's not a debut or debut. Right? Normally the first appearance of a hero or a heroine is normally mentioned as he has played the debut in this movie, which means that's the first time he has or she has acted. Yeah, so it's a debut. The next word is debris. English is an unphonetic language where the spelling does never correlate with the sound of it. So the final S is muted. So it is to be pronounced as debris, debris. The next word, normally we have the inclination of greeting our teachers. Like if one person comes in front of us, one of the teachers, then we normally call him or her as good morning sir, good morning madam. Fine, this is fine. But when two or more people come in front of us or pass by, we cannot say like good morning madams. We can say good morning sirs. Sir has got a plural form, but madam does never have any plural form in English. If at all you use the word as madams, then it has got a very, very bad or it has got a different connotation. It means a person who runs a brothel house, so which is not proper here in this context. When we greet our teachers, when they come in a group, more than two in number, then we should say, good morning, mesdames, mesdames. That is the plural form. But here, I think many of them are not familiar with this usage. The singular form is mesdames. Mesdames is actually taken from the French word singular, and plural form is mesdames, mesdames. Yes. The next word is data. Actually, this is wrongly pronounced by even many academicians. We are given to understand from our teachers of English that the singular form is datum If there's only one piece of information, we call this a datum. And if there is more than one, we call that data. So datum and data, that is how it is to be used in singular as well as in plural. There is no usage called data, but often we hear this usage. And the next word is rendezvous. Rendezvous. This is also a word taken from French language. Okay, the spelling has got a different structure, but the pronunciation is rendezvous. The next word is assault. Actually here, there is nothing wrong with the pronunciation when now people use this word, but the way they use it in a wrong place. They say when somebody is just walking carelessly in the hot sun or in the heavy rains, they're not minding his or her health. Here people have got the tendency to say, see how that boy is walking with an assault behavior. Actually, assault in the dictionary has got a different meaning. It gives a meaning that's attack. Assault means attack. So I don't know how far it has come into our usage in our day-to-day life. Even in villages here, we hear this word often used by those people who are not literate in English. And the next word is really very funny. Like when people call children's, actually it's child as a singular and children as a plural. The word children's come with an apostrophe in between N and S. Like this is a children's movie. In that case, you can use children's movie, where it is used in the possessive form. And finally, we have got the word luggages. There is no plural at all. Please remember, my dear students, there is no plural form for luggage. Luggage is luggage only, both singular as well as in plural. So we can say, don't carry heavy luggage. Don't carry too many luggage. You can stop with luggage. Don't say luggages or baggages. Clear? Well, now we move on to the next slide. Now, in the previous slide, we saw the words which are mispronounced. And here is a list of sentences commonly uttered wrongly. Let's see. Suppose if it rains today, the match will be cancelled. I think you and I are very familiar with this sentence when people say, suppose if it rains. Remember, in this sentence, the first two words are to be considered. Either you can use the word suppose or if. Don't bring these two words together. Okay, let us not bring suppose and if together. Suppose, you can say like this, suppose it rains today, the match will be cancelled. Or, if it rains today, the match will be cancelled. So don't bring suppose and if together. Similarly, the second sentence also has the same structure. In case, if you cannot come, please inform me. In case and if, both are conditional. Okay, conditional words. So in that case, we need not bring them together. Like the first sentence, here also we can start like, in case you cannot come, please inform me. Or, if you cannot come, please inform me. So this is a kind of redundancy we call. The name of this error is redundancy. Later we will see the list of errors which we make, and there is a name for each and every kind of error we make in our day-to-day communication. Somewhere people have registered this kind of error and they think they are right. But our communication, has to be acceptable by one and all. So in that case, we have to be uniform in the use of English. Now, so the second sentence must be clear to you, I believe. In case you cannot come, please inform me. Or, if you cannot come, please inform me. The third sentence is, I cannot be able to see the slides. Now, during this pandemic situation, lots of webinars are being conducted all over, and everywhere people have got the tendency to use this kind of sentence, I cannot be able to see the slides. Now, you yourselves now can easily make out the error when I speak like this. You can say either, I cannot see the slides, or I am not able to see the slides. So, any one of these two is acceptable. Right? Let me repeat. I cannot see the slides, you can say, or I am not able to see the slides. Don't bring cannot and able together. Okay, there are many people who commit this mistake. Let us not do it. Once we know it, we should not repeat it. The next sentence is, when did you return back? Normally for people like you, this sentence may sound right, but where is the error? In the last two words, return back. Return means come back. Then why should there be another back there? When that word has got a beautiful meaning called come back, reducing two words into one, then we need not have the second word back over there. So how can we say this? When did you return? That is one way of asking. The other way is, when did you come back? Clear? Hope I am clear to you all. So when did you return is one way of asking. Means when did you come back? Otherwise, you can say straight away, when did you come back? Yes. Next sentence. She dances well, isn't it? This is a very common usage in our people, where the error, if you have really identified, it is in the question tag. She dances well. So normally when we frame a question tag to a sentence, what do we consider? The first two words. The first two words of the sentence are the subject and the verb, right? So she dances. So these are the two words. She is the subject and dances is the verb. So what should we do to make a question tag? The word she must come at the end of that question tag. In the place of it, you should keep she, because the pronoun must come at the end of the sentence, and the dances must be split into two parts. Since it is in present tense form, we should split it into does plus dance. So what we do is, for the question tag, we take away the primary auxiliary does. Okay, does she. And since the sentence is in a positive form, the tag has to be negative. So the right answer will be, she dances well, doesn't she? Yes. The next sentence is, try to cope up with this lockdown, which means all of us are confined to our own homes, and it is very difficult without seeing our friends, without going to marketplaces, without going for any sightseeing. So it's very difficult. So our parents normally advise us to be on the safer side. They advise us to just cope with this lockdown. Actually, it should be to cope. Let us try to cope with this lockdown. Cope and up should never come together. It's not a phrasal verb, right? Cope itself means adjust with. So try to cope with this lockdown is the right usage. Okay, remove that up in that sentence. You are always welcome. Have you come across this sentence? Right, out of love and affection, we just tell our people, the guests, before they leave, you are always welcome home at any time you want. But in English culture, if somebody says you are always welcome, they giggle, they laugh, they say that you should not come. To mean that you should not come, they use this, you are always welcome. The tonal difference is there. So it's better to avoid. If you are very caring and lovable, just tell them you are welcome next time too. You are welcome any number of times. Don't say you are always welcome. Right? We will not like people to come, always. Okay, they should fix the time, because we may be busy, or we may be doing something else, and we may not like to entertain a guest on a particular Sunday or so. So they have to be very courteous with us by informing us when they are planning to come. They should fix a kind of appointment. So nobody can visit any place always. Even when we visit other places, we should get a prior appointment, or we should inform them when we are going over there. Okay, next is where you are going. See, this is a kind of mother tongue influence. Nee enga pora. In Tamil we use like that. So English also they say where you are going. Okay, instead the right way of asking a question is, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Right? That is how you have to ask. Then next is, can you please tell me what is your name? So when you are using two questions in the same place, you should say, can you please tell me what your name is? Can you please tell me what your name is? Okay, the second sentence must be a flat statement. When you are asking two questions at a time, can you please tell me is one question. The next question is, what is your name? So now the right way of asking is, can you please tell me what your name is? Yes. Next, greeting someone in the evening as good morning. I have heard from French masters that in French culture, they use the word bonjour. Bonjour. Okay, bonjour literally means good morning, but even if they meet in the evening, they say bonjour. Instead of saying bonjour, they say bonjour. Okay, that is French culture, but English culture does not permit that. It all depends upon the time we should greet. For example, if we meet in the morning, it is better to say good morning. If we happen to meet in the afternoon, it is better to say good afternoon. Okay, but people tend to say good morning during afternoon, and in the evening also it is better to say good evening. And at night we cannot say good night. Good night is a closing expression, so only at the end we can use good night. Even at night, if we meet, we should say good evening. So don't use good morning for the entire 24 hours of our day. That is not acceptable in English culture. Okay, asking embarrassing questions to a woman like what's your age, are you married, what is your salary. So these are some of the sentences which will create embarrassment to the listener, especially a woman. Normally in a society where we give lots of respect, it is better to avoid these questions, because though these questions are correct grammatically, they are socially acceptable. So we have to, I was telling about the ethics in communication. This is one kind of ethics where you should be very careful when you speak to a woman. So don't ever try to embarrass any woman asking what is her age, whether she is married, or what salary she is drawing. Don't ever use that. Yes, now the sentences continue, because all these sentences have been taken from my own experience. So here, while introducing oneself in an interview, today campus interviews are conducted all over the institutions when the students come to the final year, because they'll be very much particular about their employability. So in an interview normally the panelist asks the candidate to introduce himself or herself. Very spontaneously, the candidate says, myself Vijay. Instead of saying that I am Vijay or my name is Vijay, they say myself Vijay. This is a very, very wrong expression. Please note, do not ever use this kind of expression, myself Vijay. Okay, a sentence can never begin with this reflexive pronoun myself. Myself is a reflexive pronoun. I did it myself. So the word myself should come only at the end of the sentence. So it should not be the beginning of a sentence, myself Vijay. This is a totally a wrong statement. Instead you should say, I am Vijay. My name is Vijay. This is Vijay. Like that only you can say. And next sentence here, I and she are good friends. Is it right to say I and she are good friends? It may sound correct to you all, but the English culture again says I should be kept next or at the end. So you should say, she and I are good friends. That is the right usage. She and I are good friends. It is a human tendency to project I, right? It's I who did it. I only did it. I only saw that. I only gave you this, right? We are very fond of projecting our own self. But in a sentence like this, we have to be very careful. I must come at the end. Always remember, I must come at the end. Even if you are referring to 3 or 4 people, you should bring I at the end. Kala, Mala, Sheila, and I are good friends. Okay, don't say I, Kala, Mala, and Sheila. Okay. Yeah. Next sentence is our family members are very cordial to each other. Our family members. I think this sentence will be felt right by you all. But where is the error? The use of family members. The next sentence is our family members are very cordial to each other. And here in this sentence, you may feel that everything is right, because we are very much, very casually we are listening to such sentences, and we think that the sentence is right. But again, English culture says the members of our family are very cordial to each other. So that is the right way of telling according to them. The members of our family. Even don't ever say our staff members. You should say the members of our staff. Okay, so family members and staff members are wrong usages according to English culture. So next sentence, our staffs are mostly strict. Like luggage, the word staff does never have a plural. Okay, the word staff remains the same in its singular form as well as the plural form. Our staff are mostly strict. Our staff is mostly strict when you are referring to one staff. When you refer to more than one, you should say our staff are mostly strict. Next sentence is, I am having a brother and a sister. Again, this may sound right for many of us, but this is a kind of the nation's mistake as such. In our country, most of us have got the habit of using present continuous tense when they want to say sentences like this. Instead, you can better say, I have a brother and a sister. Don't say I am having. If you say I am having, then it talks about the present time, the time of speaking. But when you say I have a brother and sister, that is a permanent statement from you. So which is right? The permanency in the statement compels us to use the sentence as I have a brother and a sister. The next sentence, I did not wrote my first test last week. Very casually, young students, they share this particular sentence. I did not wrote. So some of you must have felt where the error is. If you start your sentence in past tense, I did not, then the verb must be present tense form. So the right answer is, I did not write my first test last week. Okay, if you have did in the sentence, don't ever have the past tense form of a verb because we have split the verb into did plus write. Wrote is divided into did plus write. So did is already brought here as a second word of the sentence. So in that case, what is remaining in did plus write? Write is only remaining. Wrote is not there. Wrote is already broken into two pieces, did and write. So I did not write my first test last week is the right way of telling. Right? This is applicable for other verbs as well. And the next one is when we write a letter, towards the end we close it, yours faithfully. Right? This is a very common error found in our students where they lose marks in their plus 2 or even the 10th standard. Okay, the word yours is a possessive case, so there is no need to have an apostrophe. So errors sometimes happen in the use of punctuations, so we have to be doubly careful when we use. Wherever it is to be used, it can be used, but here in this context, the apostrophe is not at all required. So yours faithfully must be without any apostrophe in the word yours. I studied in St. Joseph's Girls Higher Secondary School. Now here, St. Joseph's Girls, there are two occasions where S is added. So I studied in St. Joseph's. So Joseph apostrophe S, girls, after girls in plural form, after girls you have to put an apostrophe and you should say I studied in St. Joseph's Girls Higher Secondary School. So to denote that, you should put an apostrophe here between Joseph and the S and there after girls. Okay, if you put apostrophe between girl and S, then it will be meant as if the school is only for one girl, but the school is for many girls, thousands of girls. So in that case, after girls you put apostrophe. Yes, next sentence is I attended a 5 days workshop. Right, if a workshop is for 5 days duration, then we should say I attended a 5-day workshop. 5 days must be written as 5-day. Okay, here we say we only consider one workshop. It may contain any number of days, but it is only one workshop. But it has got 5 days. So put together, we should say I attended a 5-day workshop. I attended a 5-day workshop. Even it's a 2-day or 3-day, you can use any number of days depending upon the program which has been planned. Okay, so it should be 2-day or 3-day or 4-day. Don't write days at the end. It should be it is a. I attended a, because the workshop is only one workshop. It contains so many days, but it is only one workshop. So I attended a workshop. I attended a 5-day workshop. The next one is she is our English teacher. Now in this sentence, which is commonly used by our students or our teachers, the mistake lies in English teacher. Right, when you are referring to somebody as she is teaching you English, then it should be said as she is our teacher of English. Okay, if you say English teacher, it means as if the teacher has been born and brought up in England. Okay, now in India we have the adjective Indian. For England, the adjective is English. So it has got ambiguity. It's got two meanings. So if you have ambiguity in your sentences, then people will misunderstand or they will have different kinds of thinking about the statement. So she is our teacher of English. Right? She is our Tamil teacher. That is okay because Tamil is normally taught by the people whose mother tongue is Tamil. So she is our Tamil teacher is okay, but don't say he is our French teacher. You should say he is our teacher of French. French teacher again, it will even lead to another meaning as if the teacher is from France, because the adjective for France is French. So like this, there are many common sentences uttered wrongly, and it is high time we learned the right way of using. Hope the session was very useful to you, and may you have a wonderful time ahead by reading this again and again, and then improve upon your English, and let us use error free English. Let us use English communication without these common errors. Thank you, one and all.